Ahoy! Let's think. Today we answer the question, how do hot air balloons work? When you move through the sky, the main method of transport you think of is via airplane. Flying in an airplane is probably the most practical way. There are other methods that people use, but more likely in a recreational way. One of these is riding in a hot air balloon. Not the most efficient use of travel. The hot air balloon is mainly used as a fun activity. But how does a hot air balloon work? The hot air balloon consists of three main parts: the envelope, the burner, and the basket. All three of these components work together to allow the rider to fly up in the air. The envelope is the actual balloon, and the first thing you see when you think of a hot air balloon. The envelope is constructed of gauze, which are long nylon sections made from a combination of nylon and polyester. This is typically the same material used for parachutes, as it's lightweight, sturdy, and has a high melting pressure. The burner is what's used to make the hot air balloon rise. The hot air balloon uses the basic concept that hot air rises. The burner is directly positioned under the envelope, and when turned on, it creates hot air. Air typically weighs about 28 grams per cubic foot, but hot air weighs about 7 grams less. Since hot air weighs less than regular air, it floats. The hot air created by the burner gets trapped in the balloon envelope, causing it to be lighter than the air outside of the envelope, making it float. To make the hot air balloon descend, an opening at the top of the envelope can be opened to let the hot air out. The third component is the basket. This is where the passengers or cargo are safely held. The basket is usually made of wicker, as it's light and durable. Flying in a hot air balloon can be tricky. Rising and falling can be easily controlled using the burner and opening the vent at the top of the balloon. But moving in a specific direction takes a lot more skill. Master ballooners are able to rise and fall the hot air balloon to catch wind currents, which allow them to move in different directions. When you let the wind take you where you want to go, it can be quite an adventure when traveling in a hot air balloon. So that answers, how do hot air balloons work? That took some thinking.
First World War tech. Zeppelins. When a German aristocrat, Brigadier General Ferdinand Zeppelin, retired from the army in 1891, he devoted himself to the study of aeronautics. His proposals to the government for a lighter-than-air flying machine were rejected in 1894, but nevertheless, he would invest all his money into a company producing airships. By 1898, Zeppelin had constructed his first airship. The foundation of the airship were in its hydrogen-filled gas bags, carried inside a steel skeleton. It weighed 12 tons and contained 400,000 cubic feet of hydrogen and was driven by propellers connected to a pair of 15-horsepower Daimler engines. When the Zeppelin LZ made its flight on July 2, 1900, the German government decided to fund the project. In March 1909, the German Army purchased the Zeppelin Z1. These Zeppelins could reach a maximum speed of 136 kilometers per hour and reach a height of 4,250 meters. They were armed with 5 machine guns and could carry 2,000 kilograms or 4,400 pounds of bombs. At the start of the war, Zeppelins were used in bombing raids. A Zeppelin was used to bomb Liège in Belgium on 6 August 1914. But had to make an emergency landing after encountering Belgian artillery fire. Over the next few weeks, 3 more Zeppelins were destroyed by ground forces. While the Zeppelins were an easy target to hit, the Germans continued to use them for attacks on France. In January 1915, 2 Zeppelin naval airships flew over the English coast, bombing Great Yarmouth and King's Lynn. Zeppelins would commence a bombing raid on London on May 31, 1915. Killing 28 people and injuring 60 more. Zeppelins were used at the Battle of Verdun in 1916, with 4 being brought down by ground fire, bringing an end to their use on the Western Front. They continued to be used to attack the British home front, but British fighter pilots and anti-aircraft gunners became efficient at taking them down. 115 Zeppelins were used by the German military, with 77 destroyed or damaged beyond repair. After the war, Zeppelins were used for civilian transport. Watch our other videos to learn more. Get your copy of Simple History World War I, available on Amazon now.